I don't care what you think. This is my property, and I demand you remove him right now.
Blue HOA strobes bounced off the lake at 5:12 a.m., cold air biting my cheeks, wet grass soaking my socks as I stepped onto my own dock with a mug of coffee. Karen stood inside my fence like she owned it, clutching a clipboard and pointing at my kayak rack like it was a weapon. Her breath fogged the air. She said she was giving me 48 hours to remove anything touching the association land. Then, as if rehearsed, she jabbed a finger at me and said, "I will call the cops." I could smell the asphalt warming on Lakeshore Drive, hear geese arguing in the dark. I told her to leave my yard. She grinned and stayed. This is where the fight started. And here's the truth behind the headline I never asked for. Karen trespassed onto the lake yard after 48 hours. I will call the cops. Had no idea I am their sheriff. That sentence sums it up. She tried to scare me. She tried to make me fold. But the lake line was surveyed last fall, flagged with bright tape, and my rack sat 2 feet inside my deed. I wasn't moving it. I told her the HOA doesn't beat a plat map. She smirked, waved the clipboard, and strutted out, heels punching divots in the mud like drum beats that I tried to fix it the easy way. I emailed the board at 8:03 a.m., attached the survey from May 3rd, 2024, and asked for a quick meeting. The reply came cold. Rules are rules. Remove the rack by Friday. I went door to door. People cracked doors an inch, eyes wide like I was radioactive. One neighbor whispered that Karen filmed anyone who crossed her. Another neighbor stared at her Ring cam the whole time and said nothing. That night, 9:00 p.m., another violation notice went up on my gate with red ink underlines like a threat. Timeline item 1, April 5th at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. If you're counting, that was her first. The next morning, lights again, officers again, my kids late to school again. By day 4, she had stacked 3 complaints on me, and my patience felt like a thin wire humming in the wind. I set a line in the sand, or in our case, the silt. I promised myself and my kids I would use proper channels only. No yelling, no petty payback. I went smart. I filed a public records request for every 911 call and HOA complaint naming my address for the last 6 months. When the email hit, the file landed with 63 pages. Every line had timestamps, call notes, and the same voice using the same phrases: non-compliant member, hostile swimmer, dangerous rack. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I printed the plat. I printed the bylaws. I flagged everything with neon tabs like a rainbow spine. Simple law says this: patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. I read that line out loud, slow, and felt my hands stop shaking. The meeting was at the boathouse on a windy Tuesday. The lights buzzed. Someone brewed cheap coffee that smelled like burnt toast. I arrived early, set up a small speaker, and waited. When the board called my name, I stepped up with the binder and hit play on a short clip. Karen in my fenced yard at dawn, waving that clipboard and declaring she would call the cops. No narration, just her voice and the geese. I flipped the binder and showed the survey. Then I said the part one had kept quiet. Folks, I work for this county. I am your sheriff as of May 3rd, 2024. I paused and let the gasp roll. I looked right at Karen and then back to the room. I have purposefully stayed out of this as a neighbor. I did not use my badge, and I will not. I handed the binder to the board and a sealed flash drive to 2 city officers sitting in the back. I have referred the evidence to an outside agency to avoid any conflict. That was the twist. Not power flexed, but power restrained. Phones came out like prairie dogs. Neighbors filmed. Someone whispered this is going viral. Another snorted when the clip replayed and Karen's voice cracked on cops. Comments started flying even before we wrapped. The teens from Lot 12 live-streamed the vote tally board scribbles like it was a playoff game. One guy said out loud that the kayak rack looked safer than Karen's attitude. Laughter popped like popcorn. I didn't smile. Not yet. The wind rattled the boathouse door, and the room smelled like wet rope and coffee lids. Then the flip happened the right way. The chair cleared her throat and read the bylaws line on property lines and approved structures. The city officers spoke next. An investigator from the neighboring county, neutral and detailed, said there were 4 calls in 9 days with contradicting facts. He set down a printout with quiet hands. Based on the evidence, citations for trespass and misuse of emergency services are being issued. The board looked at each other like the floor had caught on fire. The vote to rescind my violations was unanimous, 7-0. The vote to censure Karen passed 5-2. Fines piled up into real numbers. $1,200 for the calls, $250 for yard entry, plus mandatory training on HOA procedure. She tried to talk. The chair tapped the gavel. Meeting adjourned. The lake changed after that. My dock light stopped getting unplugged. Kids fished again at dusk, lines bright against the gold water. The HOA posted a clear map on June 12th with stakes and paint so nobody had to guess. 2 new volunteers joined the architectural committee, real ones who read. Karen disappeared for a week and came back quiet, head down, doing her required hours picking trash along Lakeshore Drive. The city posted a note that night. Officers will not respond to HOA-only disputes without a crime reported. My favorite moment was small. I fixed Mr. Dorsey's broken cooler latch while he told me about the base he caught on a purple worm. We laughed like neighbors, not sides. I slept with the windows open and the geese sounded like geese again, not alarms. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.